Hey everybody, thank you for joining me for the live stream today. Should be an interesting stream. I got a brand new product and I want to show it to you. This is the Tactile Turn Bolt Action Slim. This is the short edition here. That's you're seeing this little box here. I haven't even opened it yet. So this is a true unboxing, kind of a first impression sort of a thing. I did a lot of research about this pen. Man, oh man, I'm excited. Like, it's a really expensive pen, especially for someone buying their first sort of high-end pen. But we're gonna see. So first, starting off, I want to show you the website, show you kind of exactly what it is you are getting into here. So let's go ahead and show that. So this is their website here. If we look at their catalog, it's kind of funny. If you go to bestsellers or if you go to shop series, it's the same page. It's all the same page. So this is kind of their claim to fame here, is their bolt action pens. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the bolt action pen first, and then just kind of show you how this works. So when you look at the website, first of all, you're selecting from multiple different materials here. You have titanium, copper, bronze, or zirconium, right? Zirconium is the most expensive. All of the other ones are the same price. And then this comes in 3 different lengths here. You can get this in a standard length, in a short length, or in a mini length. So as you can see, they're quite a different size. 5.6 for the standard, 4.4 for the mini. So quite a different size between the two of them. Beautiful pens. They all have their own charm. I decided to go with the bronze. I was really between the bronze and the copper for me. But upon doing a lot of reading, people tended to say that the bronze held up more. It didn't show scratches as much, and the patina looked better on it. They will patina for sure if you use those. And they also said the copper, when it's new, it'll make your hands smell like pennies. So I was a little bit kind of skeptical about that. So anyways, one pen to rule them all. The unique bolt action shape allows for one fluid motion to advance or retract the refill. Because the surfaces of both the interior part and the inside surfaces have been carefully machined to be extra smooth, the action feels amazingly satisfying. If there's one pen we recommend to new customers, it's the bolt action. So that's kind of their starting point. They've got a couple of different series, but their bolt action is sort of their default pen, if you will. So you can get it in titanium, like I told you there. You can get this in copper instead, bronze, or if you want to go all the way, you're going to go to zirconium, right? So they're designed to last forever. They have a lifetime warranty on these, so you don't have to worry if something does happen to it. Has a lifetime warranty, and it should, honestly, for the kind of price you're paying. I don't think it's overpriced, but it's just expensive, right? So now let's go ahead and have a look at the slim bolt action pens. That's the one that I got here. So the only difference between the bolt action pen and the slim bolt action pen is one is slimmer. That's it. That's the difference between the two. If you look at that central photo there, that's showing you the difference between the two, I believe. And you've got all the specs and stuff like that there. Diameters, weights, everything you need, what kind of refills it'll work with. I want to show you one more thing that's kind of interesting here, but I'm going to show you on their other site. Now this is their Instagram. Now I want to show you a couple pictures on their Instagram here because they have some pretty cool ones, honestly. This is a brand new seasonal pen they just released here. Oh, we have to log on to view. Oh, well, that's just silly. I wonder why it's making me do that, because it wouldn't let me log in earlier, those buggers. But anyways, you can see in the middle of that seasonal release. Let's go ahead and show that back on the other site, though. I want to show you this because I think this one's really cool. So go to limited releases. I was really tempted to buy this one here, but then I just figured, this is like the newest kind of my first pen. I don't really want to get a special one. I want to get sort of like the default, you know what I mean? What's a very regular one. But I think this one's really cool. This is the seasonal pen. Now, one of the reasons that I didn't get this one is I find it kind of looks like cardboard, right? But it's Cerakote coated titanium, I believe is what it is. So Cerakote, they coat gun parts and stuff like that. It's supposed to be extremely durable. But I just find it looks a little like cardboard. So it looks, I don't know, it looks a little weird to me, but I think it looks pretty cool. So if you want kind of a different one, you can take a look at that there. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the cameras here, and let's actually get into the unboxing segment here. Move all my stuff. Okay, I think we've got everything. No, that seemed to work out well. Okay, so this is the box that it comes in here. Proudly designed, machined, and assembled in Texas. So not only is this design, you see a lot of companies that design things in the United States, but they don't make things in the United States. And I think it's cool in this case that they do everything in the United States. you can see it says Bronze Slim BAS tie dam bolt. So it's in bronze, it's the slim model. BAS, I assume, is bolt action short. Tie Damascus bolt. I upgraded to a tie Damascus bolt. I couldn't not upgrade anything, you know what I mean? You can also upgrade the clip, but I found upgrading the bolt was enough to satisfy what I needed here. So let's go ahead and open it up. I really haven't opened this up yet. Okay, so there you go. So it looks like it's like vacuum sealed is kind of what I think there. And I think it probably is vacuum sealed, honestly, because they probably don't want it to patina. They don't want the copper or the bronze or whatever to patina on it. So nothing else comes in the box. That's it. I mean, I don't know if you really need instructions, like it's a pen, you know. If you can't figure out a pen, I think there's other problems afoot potentially. Gotta grab it. Okay. That's probably gonna make a big difference if I move my mic here, I would think. Whoops. Hopefully that sounded okay. My apologies for that, everybody. Let's go ahead and open this up here now. Okay. So I cut that off. I would usually do this a little more caveman style, but you know, it's for a video here. So let's try to do it right, not be scratching everything up before we even get started. I am certainly making a mess of this, though. I can confirm that much to you. Okay. Let's go ahead and just sweep this off for now. And there it is. That is your pen. Wow, that is very, very nice to hold. One thing that I found a little bit challenging was that when you're buying something like this online, you're limited because you can't physically try it, right? You have to kind of go by pictures. But what I did and what actually worked really well is I took a ruler and I measured a whole bunch of other pens and I tried one that would be equivalent to the short and to the long and to the standard and all that kind of stuff. And I found that the short was sort of short to me seems standard. Standard to me seems long. I don't have any pens that are the long length or the standard length, but the short length is what all of my pens at home were. So that's what I went with. So the first thing I want to show you here, I don't know if we can zoom in. I'll try to move it up a little closer if I can. So now what you can see is you see all of these machining marks. So this entire thing is covered in this band of, you know, a mark that goes all the way across it, running up and down the entire pen. This is going to give it crazy grip, like when you move your finger on it. If it was smooth, it would move completely different. I think that looks very, very cool. Now I want to show you a close-up here. This is that titanium Damascus bolt. It doesn't show up very good in this lighting here. Let's see if I can add a little light to the equation here. Does that look any better? Oh, no. That looks kind of worse, actually, but oh well, we tried. So this titanium Damascus bolt here, this is made out of, it's like folded titanium, and then they do a process to it that gives it this look, but it's this sort of purple, almost iridescent banded segment there. I've never really, hey, Maddie, hey, good to see you, buddy. I've never really seen anything quite like this in person, but it looks super, super cool to me. They also offer this clip in that same Damascus finish, the Damascus finish, but I decided not to do that. It increases the price significantly if you do the clip as well. If you just do the bolt, it's not that much. It was like an extra 25 Canadian dollars or something. But if you were to do the clip as well, it increased it significantly. So I was like, we'll do this one. Let me make sure this is the size I want to get. Let's zoom out a little tiny bit there if we can. I'm like, let's make sure it's the exact size that I want to get, and then I'll go from there. Now, one thing I'll try to show you here, you can see it says Tactile Turn 2021. So we're already outdated here. We're opening up the pen. We're a year behind, but this was released in 2021. I like that they put that behind on the clip. It'd be kind of garish if they put it on the front here, you know what I'm saying? But I think that is very cool that they put that behind there. So this leads me to believe that they'll have a new model coming out soon. Maybe, maybe not, but you can't, you know, eventually you have to buy something. There's always going to be a new model coming out if it's at all popular. So now this clip here, this is a clip that some people like this clip, some people don't like it as much because it's not a super deep carry sort of a clip. If it was a really deep carry clip like on some of their, can we switch? Actually, no, let's not. We've had problems with that. Sometimes we switch back in the websites, we get issues. But if you look at their other models on their site, you'll see some of them have a deep carry clip. And it sits way higher up here, so it's going to sit higher, sit lower in your pocket rather. But for me, I don't really think I'm going to be putting this in my pocket that much, so it's just not a huge priority for me. But like, don't get me wrong, if they just instantly release a new model, I'm not going to be happy, but what are you going to do, right? It's totally possible. Now this here, this is the bolt action itself. So this is kind of its claim to fame. I haven't used this bolt yet, so let me just go ahead and, oh wow, that's really cool. Wow, that moves way different than I expected. It is similar to like the bolt on a bolt action rifle or something like that, right? Like that's kind of the claim. I got to sort of move it. Oh, see, now this is like my natural pen position. Wow, that is really cool. I definitely see the fidget kind of aspect that people talk about this, open, close this all day long kind of thing. Very, very nice action. Basically, as you kind of pull down here, as soon as it gets to the side, it just kind of locks it. So you can see that Damascus there a little bit better on that sideways angle. But it just kind of locks in place, and then to retract the pen, you just kind of press that down ever so slightly, and it just jumps right back in place, right? So you don't really have to do anything to retract it except just kind of touch it, but you do have to make an effort to push it down. It's not just going to go down on its own. So that's really cool. The bolt action, I haven't even felt one of these before. And as soon as you do that, it's like, oh yeah, okay, I can understand why people pay this much money for these things. Because they are expensive pens, right? But it's like any sort of a bespoke piece of equipment. If it's something special, if it's something unusual, you're going to pay more money, right? Now, I'm going to go ahead. I want to write something with it here. I'm going to compare this to a couple. Let's zoom out a little tiny bit there. Yeah. And I'm going to compare this to another couple of pens. I got a couple cheapies here. So just so we can see a couple in context here. Here's a few different size pens for you. Let's go ahead and compare a Sharpie. This is a big Sharpie, though. This is a super Sharpie. Do we have any regular Sharpies? Maybe we do. This is a super Sharpie, so I don't know if that gives you the best sort of a perspective. But there you can see it with the other pens. This pen here, this is just like a cheap promotional pen kind of thing. Sneaky Pete, there we go. Hey, another Sneaky Pete. This is a cheap promotional pen, and I would say it's about the same diameter as this pen here. Same with this pen here. So the Slim seems like a pretty good choice. I really don't think the Slim is too thick or anything like that. I would go with the Slim over the Standard myself a little more. Oh, thank you. So compared to a regular Sharpie, everyone knows the size of a Sharpie. So there you go. So you see it compared to a regular Sharpie, right? So this one's quite a bit smaller, going to be much easier to write with, I would sure assume. Now, let's go ahead and just kind of write a little bit here. Okay, I have really poor penmanship, so please don't judge me on my penmanship. Wow, that writes really nice. Very, very, it's funny whenever you use a pen, it makes you realize when I'm using other pens, zoom in a little bit there, please. When I'm using other pens, I realize how poorly they write, you know, and then you use a nice pen, it's just like, oh, this is what pens are supposed to write like? Now, one thing that I was, how does it sit in your hand, right? That's obviously a big factor. And so that's why I did all the measuring. I really wanted to get the mini at first because I was like, how is this going to lay in my hand? How is the clip going to sit in my hand? How is the bolt going to sit in my hand? And I'm glad I got this short size rather than the mini. Holding this in my hand now, if I got the mini, I think that bolt would be sitting on my hand. I think the clip would as well. I think you'd be kind of doing one of these type thing, but I would love to try one in person. If I found a store that has them all and they'll let me try, I really want to try that mini. Let's see here. Wow, this writes just amazing. Like, I can't even believe this. This is a pen. This is a pen. Okay, this is not to judge my writing. I hope this is, if it is, I'm in real trouble here. Very, very nice. Now I'm just going to write with this pen, for example, here. Oh, man. Like, it feels like you're, man, oh, man. Like, it honestly, I never thought this pen was that bad until I used this other one. Like, it looks about the same. Like, this is obviously, and keep in mind, I haven't written with this before, and you see right away it's a nice thick line, whereas this one, it has to kind of work its way in. It starts, and then here it looks fine, right? But as it starts, it's not very good. But, I mean, the difference between this cheap pen and this expensive pen, the cheap pen, it feels like you're dragging it across the paper kind of thing, or forcing it across the paper, whereas in this expensive one, it just glides. One thing to keep in mind, when I say cheap pen and expensive pen, this is an expensive pen, but the insert, the pen insert, is the primary thing that's going to give you the pen experience, right? part of it's just the wrapper. Like this is just the wrapper. This is the thing that goes around it. And one thing that's cool, if you get the short or the standard length of the Tactile Turn, they can use a ton of different pen inserts. You're not limited by any stretch. If you get the mini, you're much more limited with what you can do, or you can use ones, but you have to modify it, that sort of thing. But if you go with the standard or with the short, you can use pretty much everything. If you have people, you know, there's pen people, there's knife people, there's whatever people, but pen people, they have their own pen inserts that they like. They swear by this one, they swear by that one. So if you have a particular one that you really like, you more than likely will be able to use it in here. But you can head to their website and they have a full list of every compatible ink cartridge that they know about for all of these pens. So let's get to some kind of thoughts here overall after handling it a little bit. So this cost is $164 Canadian was the total price for this. And I mean, it feels really, really nice. It doesn't feel cheap at all. Like this is how you can tell something's made really nice here, right? If we look at this, this looks more or less like one piece. Like you can't see a thread here, maybe like you can little tiny see it here kind of thing. But look at that, right? That's where you're going to remove the ink cartridge. That's where you're going to change it out. But just look at how well that's put together. Like it's just, not only is it smooth as butter, it virtually disappears. Like you can just barely see that in person. It's like you're looking for it kind of thing. And part of that's probably because of the lines and the sort of ring that they have around that. But it feels absolutely fantastic in the hand. It feels super high end. It by no means feel cheap. It has a really nice weight to it. It's not heavy. I was worried it was going to be heavy and kind of hard to write with, but it doesn't have much of a weight to it. But keep in mind, titanium is going to be the lightest. Copper is going to be the heaviest. But you can check that on the website. Each of them do have a different weight. But I'm really happy I went with the bronze. This is going to patina. So if you buy bronze, if you buy copper, it will patina. It will react with the oil on your finger and your hands over time. And so this won't have this beautiful, shiny look, but that's part of the reason that I went with bronze instead of titanium. If you get titanium, it's not going to patina. It's going to have that same look. But if you like that evolution over time, something to look used and to look unique and look like you have your own, then you want to go with the bronze and copper. You know, if you have a chance, if you have somewhere that has these in person, I would absolutely recommend checking that out, because they come in essentially 6 different options. You have 2 different style. Well, I mean, they come in 12 different options because there's 2 styles of pens. But you can get the regular or the slim, and then you can get the mini, short, or standard. So in a perfect world, you'd be able to handle all these, write a couple lines, write this is a bad pen or whatever I wrote there, and see which one you like the best, because it sure would suck to buy a mini, spend a bunch of money, and then you get it and you're just like, man, this is hard to write with. Like this is really hard for me to write with. And then you'd, you know, probably buy another one at some point. But overall, I am super happy with this. The bolt action is just smooth as can be, and fidget for days with this one, I think here. You know, it's one of these things where I know it has a lifetime warranty, but I'm always worried I'm going to kind of wear it out, you know. But if I'm going to spend this much money on a pen, I'm going to see if I can wear it out. You know what I mean? This is my pen now. It's like I'm not having any other cheap pen or whatever. I'm just going to use this one kind of thing. So there you go. I really hope you enjoyed that look at this as much as I did. I can't wait to sort of start integrating this into my life. I'm probably going to do a longer video on it as well once I've had a bit of a chance to use it. Ideally, once it looks a little bit used as well and develops a bit of a patina so I can show you that. But very, very initially impressed with this. Feels like a quality instrument that you paid good amount of money for, but you got something that was nice. And I'm okay with paying for quality. You know what I mean? I don't like paying money if the thing isn't worth it, but in this case, it feels very, very nice. So I'm going to go ahead and write some notes, maybe write some memoirs, maybe write some just really interesting stuff. You know what I mean? I was going to mention a really famous author and say, eat your heart out. Stephen King, eat your heart out, okay? Pete's coming for you, and he's got a bronze pen to do it. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you again soon with another video.